Don't forget to check out and grab your copy of our 2 newly released books, Football, a Love Story, and What Did Football Teach Me? These books feature over 100 stories from current and former coaches, players, executives, and entertainers from across the football landscape, describing what got them involved in the game, what they love about it, and what life lessons the game taught them. You can find your copy or order your copy from our website at footballgameplan.com/books. Before we get to the report, if you like our style of video and analysis, feel free to show support for Football Game Plan by dropping by our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan and leaving a little something in the tip jar. Every little bit helps us as we continue to improve the quality of our videos and the coverage we enjoy bringing you guys each and every time we put out a project. Thank you again for your support. First, let's take a look at some of the strengths of Vernon Adams' game. You look at his field vision. I think he sees the field extremely well. In this example versus Washington, when he was back at Eastern Washington, you see a guy that checks left, comes back across the field, and throws a beautiful strike for a touchdown. Second example, you see 5 wide, empty set, man coverage all the way out. He throws to the slot receiver versus open air, a perfectly placed pass for the touchdown once again. So this guy does a great job in seeing the entire field. I think he can work touchdown to check down. You see right here going from right to left, goes through 3 different options before going to option 4 for a perfectly placed touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. So I do think, like I said before, Adams can read touchdown to check down or even check down to touchdown. He constantly keeps his eyes down the field, which means every eligible receiver is in play, as you see right here in this example, dumping the football off at the last minute to a guy that can get a lot of yards after the catch. You see right here versus Montana, going over the middle of the field, waiting for that linebacker to drop in his zone and waiting for that receiver to clear space before dumping the football off in the void. So he does a great job of seeing the field, which is why I do think he excels in this area. And here are some of the things he does well from a velocity department in the short to intermediate area. You see some clips right here from the East-West Shrine game in which he was outstanding all week long. One thing that was very impressive, a little subtle move right there to move that linebacker before creating space, a window to put that football in. He made velocity throws in the short to intermediate area all game long and all week long. He does this exceptionally well. When you go back to his 2015 and 2014 film, you see this on a consistent basis. And you saw glimpses of this when I talked about him seeing the entire field, but Vernon Adams' deep ball accuracy is where it needs to be for an NFL quarterback. You're only going to get a few opportunities a game to strike deep down the field, so you have to make sure you're able to connect, and I think he has that within his arsenal. This is a guy that does a great job getting enough air and enough reach on the football to where receivers don't have to break stride and run underneath it. Vernon Adams also has elite level escapability. This guy's like Houdini back there in the pocket, whether it's extending the play to find somebody open downfield or just getting himself out of a jam to create opportunities with his legs. He does a great job in eluding pressure and evading pressure. And yes, it can get him into problems at times, but more often than not, he's able to come out on the positive side and gain yards. Taking a look at some of the areas of improvement in Vernon Adams' game, I think he has to become a little bit more consistent in the placement department, both short and intermediate. I think at times his mechanics tend to be compromised and he doesn't set his feet or throw with a good base, and the ball can be off a little bit, whether it's short or intermediate. I think those 2 areas he really has issues with consistency because he's constantly moving around. So if he can calm down in the pocket, set his feet, he'll get much better placement on his passes. And we constantly talk about this, whether it's quarterbacks or running backs, you have to learn to live another down. You can't continuously gamble on the big play. I know that goes against a playmaker's instincts. They want to make every play spectacular, and I credit them for that, but you have to realize the situation, and not every play is the end of the game, last-minute situation. So you have to understand where you are on the football field, the down and distance, what has to happen, and you have to find ways to keep yourself ahead of the chains in order to have success. I think the best comp for Vernon Adams Jr. is Johnny Manziel of the Cleveland Browns. I think both guys are built the same. They have similar styles and similar games. Both are dynamic. Both operate very well out of the spread. Both can take over a football game with their arm and with their legs. They also are game breakers. Even when you look at some of the areas of improvements, I think they're similar in that department as well. So I think the best comp for Adams Jr. would be Manziel. Adams graded out as a third-round prospect, my 7th-rated quarterback in his draft class. I'm a big fan of his game. I think he definitely can be a starter in the NFL at quarterback. There's no talk about other positions. He's a quarterback. He's been consistent. He has gotten better each and every season at that position and dominated at 2 programs at 2 different levels. So there's no doubt in my mind that you're looking at a guy that can go into the NFL and start and also be effective.